What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing another small modification to my 2016 Harley Davidson Road King. And what we're going to be doing today is adding the extended gear shifter and the extended brake lever. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's get it done. Okay, so this is my 2016 Harley Davidson Road King. And what we're going to be doing is extending the gear shifter here and the brake lever on the other side. And the reason we're doing that is because I just added some floorboard relocation brackets that drops my floorboard down and shifts it forward. So now that I'm running the new floorboard relocation brackets, my toe is directly underneath the shifter. And yes, I could easily pull my foot back, lift it up, and put it on the shifter, but that's not as convenient as having an extended shifter that puts the shifter a little further out. And the same thing goes on the other side. Okay? Again, we got the floorboard relocation brackets, but we have the stock brake lever here. So my foot's resting here, it's underneath the brake lever. So to brake, I'd have to pull my foot back, lift it up on the brake lever, and then put it back down. So again, it can be done. It's just not the most comfortable and convenient way of doing this. So by adding an extended brake lever, it's going to put my brake pad here out a little further and down a little bit so that it's much more comfortable. And the parts that we're going to be using today is the Kuryakyn extended brake lever here and the Kuryakyn extended shift lever here. Now I went with black in both because I do plan on adding a few more black components on my bike here. So the first thing to do, which is very simple and easy, is going to be your gear shifter. All you have to do is loosen this hex bolt up right there. Take that bolt out. The gear shifter slides right off the spleen. Once you put the new gear shifter on, you put it in the position you want at the proper height. It just slides right on, and then you put your bolt back in, tighten it down, and that's it. So the gear shifter, super simple and easy. So again, if you look here, kind of try to do this right here. If this is my foot right like that, you can see just by lifting my foot up like that, it's underneath the shifter. So the new shifter location will put it out here a little bit, which will be much more comfortable. The same thing goes on the brake lever over here. Again, when my foot's there on the lever, you can see it's underneath the brake pad there. So again, by having an extended brake pad, it puts it out a little bit further. Now, to swap out the brake lever here, this is a little bit more difficult than the shifter. I would recommend taking your floorboard off. It's just a little bit easier to do this. And then you're gonna have to loosen up this nut here on the end, take that off. Then, right here, where my finger's touching, okay, there's a little cotter pin. You have to bend the little tabs and pull that cotter pin out, and that releases this little bracket that's attached to this from pulling on your brake. So you have to pull the cotter pin out, and then this whole brake lever slides off. The hardest part of doing this is honestly just getting back there and getting that cotter pin out. But I usually just go down there with a set of needle nose pliers and maybe a long screwdriver and bend the little tabs out so I can pull my cotter pin out. So let me start doing the gear shifter side first, and then we'll come over here and tackle the brake side, and we'll be done with this install in a minute. So let me get started and I'll be right back. Okay, so again, once you take the outer nut off, which looks like this, okay, then you can go ahead and just kind of pop off this outer washer. Okay. Pop that off. There's a little O-ring there too. And then behind that pipe, you're going to have a little cotter pin that looks like this. Okay? And there's a little washer on it like that. And then there's a little cotter pin. Now keep in mind the cotter pin's end, and then the two little legs are usually bent around the other side. So you have to bend those little legs back straight again so that you can pull the cotter pin out. And then this pin slides right out. But basically right there, you see that little piece right there? This piece right here is attached to your brake lever. So as I move the brake lever, you see how there's a back piece to the brake lever and it goes around that peg right there? So what happens is once you get this lined up, that cotter pin goes through this bracket here and through this bracket right here, and this bracket right here, as it goes forward and back, that's how your rear brake works. So once you pull that cotter pin out, then it's just a matter of, you can actually take the brake lever and push it towards the back of the bike, and it rotates that stem behind your exhaust to the bottom, and you can pop it right off. Then once we get the new extended brake lever, it's gonna slide on, rotate back up into place. Again, it's gonna be hard to get that cotter pin in because you're very limited on space, But again, it can be done without removing your exhaust. You just have to take your time, have a set of needle nose pliers in here, and really just try to get that pin in and get your cotter pin in, and you'll be done in no time. So let me do that real quick and we'll be right back. Okay, so once you take your brake lever off, to get the rubber pad off, it's gonna be tight, but to get it off, all you have to do is put a little warm, soapy water down in there, maybe some Dawn dish soap, just to lubricate the brake pad a little bit, and then just use like a large screwdriver to kind of wiggle it a little bit while you're pulling on it, and it will slide off. And then to put it back on, it's just gonna slide right on to the new brake lever. So let me go do that, and we're gonna go get this one installed. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, so the easiest thing to do when putting this back on in terms of lining up the cotter pin in the back, if it's too tight back there for you to get the cotter pin lined up, just go ahead and take out the 2 bolts right here on the brake reservoir here. Just take out those 2 bolts, and this moves a little bit just to give you a little more leverage to get everything lined up. Once you get it lined up, get your pin in the back with your cotter pin, go ahead and line this back up, put your bolts back in, and you'll be good to go. So let me go ahead and tighten this back up, and we'll be done in a minute. Okay, so we're all done. We got the extended shift lever installed over here. So if I put my foot back up on the pad, you can see that I could actually lift my foot without hitting the gear shifter, and then I could just reach forward and shift it up and down and have plenty of room for my foot. Now let's go over here on the brake side. This is what the new extended brake lever looks like. So if I put my foot back here before, I can lift my foot without hitting the brake lever, lift my foot up, gently shift it forward, hit the brake, and right here, I'm good to go. So again, at the end of the day, the new extended brake lever will give you about another inch or so in terms of length for your brake lever here. So if you happen to have larger feet, or you happen to be using floorboard relocation brackets like I did here that lowers your floorboard and shifts it forward, you might want to check out these extended brake levers here and the extended shift lever over here. They are available in black or chrome, so whatever you're looking for, they have it. This is from Kuryakyn. Works out great, and I highly recommend it. So again, I'm a tall rider at 6'3", so I need to gain as much leg room as possible on my touring Harley Davidson. So the first things I always do are the floorboard relocation brackets that take your floorboard and shift them down and forward. If you haven't watched my video on the floorboard relocation brackets, make sure you go check that out because those are awesome. Then once I do that, I move forward to a Kuryakyn extended shift lever and a Kuryakyn extended brake lever. So that right there does a great job at giving me more leg room and more foot room. Then I'll move forward to an extended seat, and then eventually I'll add some taller ape hanger bars that'll give me a little bit more arm room. So again, if you're a taller rider and you want to get a Harley Davidson touring bike, or you already have one and you're looking to gain as much leg room, definitely check out some of these things that I'm doing on my bike because it definitely works. But at the end of the day, my overall impression of the Kuryakyn extended shift lever and the Kuryakyn extended brake lever, I definitely give them a thumbs up and give them a go. They're pretty easy to install. The shift lever is super easy to install, so that's not a problem. Over here on the brake lever, the hardest part, honestly, is getting that cotter pin out the back. Taking off your floorboard, getting that out of the way is easy. Taking off the bolt here is easy. But getting to the back is a little tricky. So the quick way of doing that is take these 2 bolts out right here that holds your brake reservoir in place. That'll give you a little wiggle room there to gain access to that cotter pin, and then you should be able to swap that out no problem. So we're all done, everything's good to go, and I'm real happy with how everything turned out. Okay, so we're all done. So we went ahead and installed the Kuryakyn extended shift lever and the Kuryakyn extended brake lever in gloss black on my 2016 Harley Davidson Road King. It's pretty simple and easy. Again, the hardest part is on the brake lever side, getting to that little cotter pin in the back. But if you just take your time, maybe take out the 2 bolts of the brake reservoir there to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room to gain access to that cotter pin, you'll be good to go. But overall, the fitment is perfect. Everything looks great, the quality is great, and they do gain you about an extra inch of space. So if you're a taller rider or you have larger feet, I definitely recommend doing these to your bike because they do make a pretty big difference. But that's going to be it for today's video. I hope this video helps some of you out. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button and like this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So that's it. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you. I truly appreciate all of your support. And as always, see you in the next video.